The Branch Davidians became notorious in the 1990s, transfixing the world, starting a national conversation about cults and federal oversight. But the Davidians' roots actually can be traced all the way back to the 1930s. That's when a Bulgarian immigrant and Seventh-day Adventist layman named Victor Hotef formed the Davidian Seventh-day Adventist Church. Hotef felt the church was no longer focused on its primary mission, preparing the world for the second coming of Jesus Christ. So he and his followers set out. They settled in Waco, Texas in 1935. Hotef died in 1955. His wife took over, and she predicted April 22nd, 1959 would mark the dawn of the new Messianic age. Hundreds of people gathered. Nothing happened. So then factions splintered off. One of those factions was the Branch Davidians. Control of that group changed hands until 1987 when a man named Vernon Howell stepped into the breach. Howell took the name David Koresh, and he fancied himself an end-time prophet. Koresh had extensive knowledge of the Bible. He believed he could speak directly to God.
Revelation says Christ's going to come with a wife. And who wrote it? God. And what's it about? Right. The revelation of Jesus which God gave to who? Him. To show unto his servants things which must shortly come to pass.
The FBI says he also had sex with multiple spiritual wives, including girls as young as 10. Again, saying it was all part of God's will as the believers were preparing for Armageddon. Their prep work set them up for a run-in with the feds. The ATF came to suspect the group was hoarding weapons illegally, including semi-automatic rifles, assault rifles, shotguns, revolvers, pistols, and hundreds of grenades. And that's what triggered a confrontation with agents and the 51-day standoff that ended in fire watched around the world. Here's some key moments of the Waco Siege. February 18th, 1993. ATF agents attempted to execute arrest and search warrants at the compound. A 2-hour gunfight ensued. 4 ATF agents are killed, 16 more wounded. An undetermined number of Davidians are killed and injured inside. Within hours, the FBI becomes the lead agency for resolving the standoff. Monday, March 1st, President Clinton endorses a negotiated settlement. Tuesday, March 2nd to April 18th, Koresh has 117 conversations with the FBI that go basically nowhere.
ATF, you boys are wrong.
April 19th, the FBI moves armored vehicles closer to the compound, launches tear gas inside. A fire erupts and the bodies of 80 Davidians, including 17 children, and Koresh are later found in the ashes. Many of the dead have fatal gunshot wounds to the head, chest, and face. Koresh had a gunshot wound in the middle of his forehead. Davidians are believed to have started the blazes in the home, but it was also later disclosed that the agents had used pyrotechnic tear gas rounds, which critics insist could have sparked the fire. Some survivors of the raid were tried. They were found not guilty for the original ATF murders, but got prison time for their actions during and after the raid. The remaining survivors reorganized. They published writings of Koresh and began the process of rebuilding their movement. Attorney General Janet Reno later expressed her regret for approving the raid, but investigators maintain to this day the government acted within the law